Tired of lifeless soil and struggling plants? Discover the one unusual ingredient that can transform your garden into a thriving oasis, teeming with life and producing bountiful harvests. You won't believe how easy it is. If you've ever bent down to dig into your garden and felt the soil was dry, compacted, or just dead, you're not alone. Many gardeners, even experienced ones, struggle with soil that simply doesn't support vibrant plant life. The truth is, most soil problems don't start with what's visible above ground. It's what's happening or not happening beneath the surface that determines whether your plants will thrive or just barely survive. Chemical fertilizers promise fast growth, but they often come at the cost of long-term soil health. They can strip the earth of beneficial microbes, dry out the soil, and even create an unhealthy dependency on synthetic inputs. What your soil really needs isn't a chemical quick fix. It needs life. It needs biology. It needs a little-known but wildly effective liquid solution called compost tea. Let's dig deep into how this single, strange-sounding ingredient can bring your soil back to life. What is compost tea and why it works so well? Compost tea might sound like something you'd pour into a garden-themed mug, but it's not for sipping, it's for reviving. This rich, earthy brew is made by steeping well-aged compost in water, then aerating it to encourage the explosive growth of beneficial microorganisms. When applied to your garden soil, this tea injects a powerful population of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes right into the earth, microorganisms that are the foundation of healthy, living soil. These microbes break down organic matter into plant-available nutrients, ward off harmful pathogens, and create the biological relationships that help roots absorb minerals more efficiently. Unlike chemical fertilizers that feed the plant directly, and only temporarily, compost tea feeds the soil, allowing the soil to feed the plant over time. It's a regenerative process that really strengthens your garden from the roots up. How to brew compost tea at home the right way. Making compost tea isn't just easy, it's actually pretty rewarding. When done correctly, it gives your soil a microbial boost that no store-bought product can match. So here's a reliable and effective recipe to brew 1 gallon of high-quality compost tea. You'll need 1 cup of mature, well-aged compost, either homemade or store-bought organic compost, 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses, which serves as a food source for the microbes, 1 gallon of non-chlorinated water. Rainwater is ideal, but tap water works if you let it sit for 24 hours to dechlorinate, a 5-gallon bucket or container if you want to scale up the recipe, and an aquarium air pump with tubing and air stones for aeration. How to make it. Add the compost to a mesh bag or cheesecloth and submerge it in the water. Add the molasses and stir well. Drop the air stones into the container and turn on the pump. Let the mixture brew for 24 to 36 hours, keeping it aerated the entire time. You'll notice a rich, earthy smell when it's ready, kind of like a forest floor after a rain. Important: use the tea within 6 hours of turning off the air pump. The microbial life begins to die off rapidly without oxygen, so apply it fresh for maximum effectiveness. So, now that you've got your bubbling brew, the question becomes, how do you actually use it? Well, you'll want to apply compost tea early in the morning or late in the day, just to avoid sunlight damaging all those beneficial microbes. The simplest way is to just water it into the base of your plants, making sure it really soaks into the root zone. If you're after a foliar boost, you can strain it well and spray it right onto the leaves. Plants actually absorb nutrients through their foliage too, and those beneficial microbes can help outcompete harmful pathogens. For most gardens, using compost tea once every 2 weeks during the growing season is a great rhythm. But if you're working with new beds or depleted soils, a weekly application for the first month can really jumpstart microbial activity. You'll start to notice darker, richer soil, more earthworms wriggling through the beds, and honestly stronger, more resilient plants that seem to thrive with less effort. What should you expect when your soil really comes alive? Well, the first signs that compost tea is working won't just be underground. You'll start to see plants that are brighter, fuller, and just faster growing. The soil itself will hold on to moisture better, and pests may even become less of a problem. because stronger plants and a more balanced soil microbiome are naturally more resistant. Over time, compost tea builds this thriving underground network. Earthworms, beetles, and all sorts of beneficial insects will move in, drawn by the living buffet you've created, and with consistent use your garden can actually become self-sustaining, meaning you won't need outside fertilizers or chemical treatments to keep things productive. More natural ways to keep your soil alive and thriving. Well, compost tea is the spark that gets things going. But if you really want to keep your soil healthy for years to come, it's worth adopting a few additional practices that work hand in hand with your microbial brew. Adding organic matter regularly, such as compost, aged manure, or leaf mold, ensures that microbes always have something to feed on. Organic matter acts like a sponge, holding water and nutrients while creating a habitat for all that microscopic life. Planting cover crops like clover, buckwheat, or hairy vetch in the off-season is another secret weapon. These plants fix nitrogen, improve soil texture, and prevent erosion. When cut down and left to decompose, they also feed the soil organisms and prepare the bed for your next planting season. And finally, consider transitioning to a no-till approach in your garden. Tilling disturbs the delicate networks of fungi and microbes that compost tea helps build. By reducing soil disturbance, you preserve structure, moisture, and biological integrity. 3 pillars of fertile living soil. Start your garden's transformation today. Whether you're a brand new gardener or a seasoned grower with decades in the dirt, the power of compost tea can't be overstated. It's not a trend or a gimmick. It's a method backed by biology, proven through centuries of regenerative farming, and embraced by modern organic gardeners around the world. The best part? You don't need to buy expensive additives, fancy equipment, or mystery fertilizers. All it takes is good compost, a little molasses, water, and air. That's it, and yet the impact it will have on your garden is enormous. If you're ready to give your soil the breath of life it's been waiting for, start your first batch of compost tea today. Then come back and tell us what you noticed. Did your tomatoes grow faster? Did your flowers bloom longer? Did your soil turn darker and richer overnight? We'd love to hear about it. For more soil secrets, natural gardening methods, and step-by-step guides, be sure to subscribe to Soil and Crop Central, where we dig deeper, literally and figuratively, into everything you need to grow smarter, greener, and better. Drop your questions or success stories in the comments below. Let's grow a community of gardeners who believe in feeding the soil first and watching the magic unfold. Your garden is alive. Let's keep it that way.